Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning. Good
I,
Good
morning.
morning.
I see folks on Instagram. Thank you for joining us on Instagram and on YouTube. And of course, our mastermind group right here on Zoom. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. And this second Saturday in the seventh month. Wow. You know, this is Dr. Herbert Harrison. This is, of course, Success Mentorship class number 385. And our topic for today is how to get out of a rut and reclaim your momentum. How to get out of a rut and reclaim your momentum. This topic, of course, is based on many things, but much of it comes from our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And I invite you, of course, to visit our website, herbertharris.com, www.herbertharris.com. And you can get a copy of our book. Plus, you can get some of our special gift packages where you can get a free 7-night, 8-day vacation when you buy autographed copies of the 12 Universal Laws of Success. So be sure to go to our website, herbertharris.com, and of course, our special website, www.theperfectgift.me. Well, we have everybody here. This topic today was chosen because at this point in the year, actually over half of the year is gone. And many of us, I think, are at a point in our lives where we're saying, what's next? What do I need to do to take me where I want to go? Am I happy with where I am right now? Am I happy with my performance to date? And for many of us, we're not. And so today's topic, the idea of how to get out of a rut, is designed to help you break through the barriers that are stopping you from achieving your ultimate and absolute success, that are stopping you from achieving your purpose and to achieve your greatness. A rut can be a comfortable spot, but today we're going to break that thing wide open so that your rut becomes your runway to success. So before we get started, let's do our meditation to get ourselves centered in the proper place and time and space. Let's sit straight up in our seats. Close our outer eyes and open our inner eyes. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. In this space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Once more, I am at peace with myself. And just let that peaceful state sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Just let that sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And so it is. All right. This topic, how to get out of a rut, is a powerful one because often we get in a rut and we don't really know it. You know, there's a big difference between a rut and a hole. When you fall in a hole, you know you're in a hole. And when you fall into a hole, your main objective is to stop digging and look up. But a rut is much more subtle. You can be in a rut and not even notice that you're there for years. Stephen Redhead, very popular author, had a great quote, and he said, "Life is for living, not for being stuck in a rut of complacency. Life is for living, not for being stuck in a rut of complacency." It sounds like a rut is not a good thing. But you know, everything has a good side and a challenging side. If we look at the definition of a rut, sometimes folks say, well, exactly what is a rut? Well, a rut is a habit or a pattern of behavior that has become dull, unproductive, but is hard to change. In other words, a habit or a process that has become dull, if you've lost the zing in it. But mainly it's unproductive. And let's focus on the unproductive part, because I think that now at the midpoint of the year, our main focus should be on what must I do over these next really 5.5 months to create the success that I desire this year, to become the person that I want to be this year. So it's not where we want to be. We're not where we want to be, or even worse, we haven't been where we want to be for a long time. So when you're in a rut, you're in a state almost of suspended animation. You know, a rut can be a job that you work on for 40 years, but you hate every day of it. You work just hard enough to keep from being fired, and they only pay you enough to keep you from quitting. But you say, I got to pay my bills, so I'm in this job to pay my bills, to take care of my family, and hopefully to get a retirement. But what a way to spend a life. I do not believe that the Creator gave you this incredible gift, life, to spend working on somebody else's job, unhappy about it, unproductive, and unfulfilled. A rut can be a relationship that's not working for you, that does not honor you, that does not empower you, that may even be harmful or abusive, but yet you stay in it. So there's something about a rut that it seems that we want to cling to. Maybe we're afraid that if we didn't have a job, even though we hate that job, our family would starve. Maybe in a relationship where you accept somebody and permit them to come into your life, and yet you know they don't honor you, they don't make you feel good about yourself, but you're afraid of being alone. It may even be a business that you've started that is just not growing. You know, I've always been an entrepreneur, even when you're a lawyer, unless you have a job. But I mean, when you're a lawyer in practice, you're always working to create business. And so you may have a business that you've started, but it's not growing. It gets to a plateau and it just doesn't go any further. You can't seem to get it to move up to the next level, and it's not really generating the income you want. But yet you continue working at it. You continue doing it. I'm going to give you one more. A rut can be an outdated identity. A rut can be a version of yourself that's no longer operable for you. You know, many of us get, especially the entrepreneur types, we get stuck in the being the fixer, being the go-to person, being that person that can always make things right. I'll tell you this: if you're up at 8 o'clock in the morning and you enjoying this program, chances are you're a fixer. You're the go-to person. You're that person that when stuff goes wrong, call on you because you can make it right. But that is a rut too. You know, often as a parent, we don't want to release our children to let them become who they desire to be. We still want to guide them and keep them from bumping their heads and really stunt their growth. So a rut can be an outdated identity of who you used to be, of what you used to do. It can even be an outdated identity that someone else has given you, where you end up living a life based on somebody else's expectations. So when we look at all of these aspects of a rut, we know what we're looking for. Then you would say, well, how do I know I'm in a rut? Your feelings will tell you. You see, your feeling nature is like a barometer that helps you understand and directs you in your life. I think Maya Angelou said that people may not remember what you said, they may not remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. So your feelings are that barometer that can tell you that, hey, you're in a rut. You're not happy. You're not happy with your job. You're not happy with the people around you. You feel unfulfilled. Whatever you've been doing, the zing is gone. And especially when you've been working at it over time, it just seems that it's almost like you move through quicksand. You're taking action, but you're not getting anything done. You know, Dawn talked about the airplane of life, the lift. When you can be in a rut, it's like being on the runway of life and never taking off, just going up and down and back and forth on the runway and never taking off. And the worst thing is to make yourself think it's okay. Complacency. So why do people stay there? Well, you stay there until it hurts badly enough. You stay there until that something inside says you got to make a change. There are two profound realizations about being in a rut. Number one, you don't have to stay there. And number two, it's a matter of perspective. In other words, you are stuck for a purpose. You're stuck because it's an invitation. It's time to evolve. It's time to change. I often tell the story of a traveler was coming down the highway and there was a dog sitting on the porch whimpering. And the traveler goes over to the old man sitting on a rocking chair on the porch and he said, "What's wrong with the dog? Why is the dog whimpering like that?" He said, "Oh, because the dog is sitting on a nail." So, well, why doesn't the dog get off the nail? And the old man said, "Because it doesn't hurt badly enough." And so often in life, we'll stay in a rut because it doesn't hurt badly enough. And that's the danger of complacency. You know, we can convince ourselves of virtually anything. We become what we think about. So we can be in a rut. We can be in a job that we hate. We can be in a relationship that's not good for us. We can be in a business that's not going to bring us what we desire. And yet we stay there and we convince ourselves that it's okay. So remember this: a rut is not a resting place. It's a resetting place. So if all of these things, if any of these things are happening in your life right now, that you're not getting the things you want to get, that things are not going the way you want, that the income you thought was coming, the relationship you thought would develop, the job you thought you would have has not manifested, then it's time to reset. It's time to get out of that rut. It's time for a change. So, what are the 6 steps to getting out of a rut? Well, step number 1 is to recognize that you're in a rut. And not only to recognize that you're in a rut, but to recognize it without judgment. In other words, don't beat yourself up. When you look at the level of performance that we've had over the last year, the last 6.5 months, the last year, the last 2 years, when we look at the level of performance that we have had based on the results that we're getting in our lives, I know some of us would like to slap ourselves and like, what have you been doing? You know, the amazing thing about time, and it seems right now that time is moving faster than ever. And so some of the things that you said you wanted to be doing have, you procrastinated, and now you're way down the road where it may not even be, easy to do those things. Maybe the time for doing those things is past. So that first step to breaking and getting out of a rut is awareness. If your days are dull, repetitive, disappointing, if you feel disconnected from your purpose, that the zing is lost, then ask yourself, is that all there is? Of course not. And that's when you say, hey, I'm in a rut. I need to change. When you make that realization, you acknowledge what you have done now. You see, when you make the switch, sometimes it's a tendency to make that switch, that change, carrying a lot of negative vibrations because you're angry at yourself for what you've created. In other words, we are where we are because of our decisions and our actions. And so if we're in a place that's not happy, that's not productive, that we don't feel fulfilled, we have to recognize it. We did it. We created it. But recognize also that that's just a part of life. That if you find yourself in a rut right now where you're not happy, that's a sign that it's time to grow. And once you make that realization and flip that script, it's time to grow. In the chat, I think each and every one of us who's on here today to write in the chat, it's time to grow. It's time to grow. Just saying that and sending that message to yourself puts you in a position now to break out of that rut and move to where you want to be. Second key, determine why you're in the rut. Why am I there? How did I get here? You know, when we look at our condition many times, we call it the 4 F's. We can forget it. We're in a rut. We're not happy. But instead of doing something about it, we go into a state of denial. We pretend that that job that's not going anywhere is okay. We pretend that that relationship that's not good for us is the best that we can do. We may fight it. We're in a rut and we start blaming other people. I'm in a rut and I can't go where I want to go because I don't have any money, because I'm white, black, I'm Republican, Democrat, because I didn't come from a good family. All those things. Fight the reality necessary for your change and you will not change. You can flee it. There are a lot of people who flee it. I have a young friend that every job that she gets, within 6 months, she's unhappy with it. And so she goes from job to job to job. There are people who are serial relationship people. They'll be hurt, heartbroken, devastated, and within 2 weeks, they've got a new person. That's the one. That's the one forever. That's the love of their lives. And then 60 days later, they're hurt and broken up again. And within another 2 weeks, they've gotten the one. So when you flee it, you never grow through it. But once you face it, once you look at your condition right now, and that's the critical point that I want to make right now in this 7th month of the year, that now is your chance to examine where you are right now and look at how I got here. And to say to yourself, I am here because of my thoughts and my actions. I am here like David is facing Goliath. I can either run or stand and fight. That whatever the situation is right now that I'm going through that's not bringing me the joy that I want, I created it. But the good news is, if you created it, you can change it. And so to make that resolution now, I am here because of A, B, C, and D. Maybe my business did not work because I didn't do the actions necessary. You know, we often talk about income producing activities. I didn't do those income producing activities. I went to all the meetings. I did this, I did that, but I did not do those critical things. Maybe making those calls. Maybe there's an underlying problem. Maybe you didn't make the call to make the connection because you don't like rejection. You don't like to hear people say no. Well, in business, 75% of the people are going to say no, no matter what you're selling, no matter what you want to share with them. So you can get stuck there. But the thought is now to say, okay, I didn't do it. I didn't make the calls. In the relationships, you can look and say, I am in this situation with this person because I did not establish boundaries. That the first time they yelled at me, I did not make it a deal breaker. That the first time they smacked me, I did not make it a deal breaker. On that job, the first time they passed over me for a promotion and I know I had done the work, and they brought in the boss's cousin, nephew, neighbor, somebody else, I knew my value and I said, I'm out of here. I've been here 5-10 years. I have experience. I know that my skill level is marketable. I'm out of here. And so when you determine why and why you're there, how you got there, and all those parameters, the third key now is you can take responsibility to change it. I created it, so I can change it. And the moment you take responsibility to change it, you've taken a whole different perspective now. So now the plane of your life that's on the runway, you say, I'm going to fly. I'm tired of riding around on the runway. I'm going to fly. What's keeping me from flying? I got some baggage. I got some negative thinking. I have some negative emotions. I got some bad habits. I got some people around me who don't love me, so I'm getting rid of the baggage. As they say, I'm going to jettison everything that's holding me back. The moment you take responsibility now to get off the ground, to take your life to the level that you want to go, nothing is impossible. Now your only limitation is your own imagination. Step 4. You know, there are 2 kinds of journeys in life. There are journeys from and there are journeys to. A journey from is a journey where you say, whatever this is that I'm going through, I don't like it and I'm out of here. So like when you're in a relationship that's not a good one, that's not healthy, you know, you run away. You know, you have to maybe save your money so that you can escape in the night if it's that bad. Okay. That's a journey from. And many times in life, the journeys from are the ones that are so powerful. You look at even that, like you look at the prodigal son, when he's in the pig pen of his life and he's failed at everything he's attempted to do. The one thing he knew is this: I don't want to be in this pig pen. I don't want to be stuck here. And so he made a journey from. So those who are listening today and who will listen in the future, is there something that you need to get away from? Is there thinking you need to get away from? Are there emotions you need to get away from? Are there habits you need to get away from? Are there people you need to get away from? But the strength of the journey and the power of the system of vibration is you got to have a journey. You have to convert a journey from to a journey to. You see, a journey to is so much more powerful because now you can use the law of vibration, the law of human magnetism, the law of attraction. So now when it's a journey to, when you have a clear vision of what you want to be, do, and have, and you've done all those things, in the 12 universal laws of success, chapter 3, the law of vision, we go into great detail how you must set your goals. We have a GPS, a guidance system in our lives. And it should always be guiding us to our purpose, the thing for which we were created to be, do, and have. But the GPS only works when you have two coordinates, a location and a destination. If your destination is unclear, your GPS cannot take you where you want to go. You want to go to New York? So I want to go to New York. Well, the GPS will take you up 95 to the George Washington Bridge, and then that's it. Okay. Now, where in New York you want to go is a whole different ballgame. You have to be more specific. So you have to really start to set goals, write them down, write the vision, make it plain, but they must be specific, smart goals. They must be measurable. You must set them in advance. They must be realistic based on where you are, and they must cover a certain time period. So right now, all of us should be focusing on what do we have to do over the next 5.5 months to be, do, and have the person that we want to be, do, and have. What do we have to do to achieve this vision we have for ourselves? Well, first you got to have the vision. So revisit your why and change your focus from your circumstances to your potential. So when the prodigal son was in the pig pen of life, he said, in my father's house, there's food enough and more. In other words, he took his mind off of his circumstances and his condition. So those of you who are watching today and will listening and watching the future, as you begin this process of getting out of the rut, take your thoughts off the rut itself and put your thoughts on what you want to be, the person you want to become, the things you want to do, have. And so that idea is changing your focus from your circumstances to your potential. And so now you know that if you can think it, you can be it. The first law of success says, a mind shall have whatsoever it thinks in its heart. So if you can think it, you can feel it, you can do it. Step 5, create an action plan. It's not enough to write your goals down, but you have to create an action plan, and don't wait for somebody else to help you do it. Don't wait for outside motivation. The moment you decide to get out of that rut, chances are you're going to be operating by yourself. Nobody's going to drag you out of a rut. You have to act out of a rut. You can't even think yourself out of a rut. Even if you have thoughts of change, those thoughts must be confirmed by action. So you have to act your way out of the rut. In chapter 7 of the 12 universal laws of success, the law of action, it lays out the process of creating an action timetable. And when I say an action timetable, it's not just enough to have the actions that you need to take you out of the rut, but you must schedule those actions. You must leave enough time for those actions to be completed successfully. You must operate by the calendar and by the book. I recommend that when we finish this broadcast today, that you take a pause and you set 2 or 3 goals. Maybe revisit the goals you set earlier this year, but 2 or 3 things this year, these next 5.5 months, that are important to you, that you want to do, that you want to achieve, that you want to become, and then commit to get them done. Now, this week. You see, the key to building momentum is to successfully complete what you've set out to do. So you accomplish those 3 goals this week, believe me, you'll feel stronger. Next week, you'll be able to do more. You create 4 goals. Next week, you'll feel stronger. Next week, you'll be able to do more. So create that action plan so that it can build to momentum. Because once you get momentum, then the laws of physics begin to help you. You know, once you get that plane off the ground, you see, you have to get the plane off the ground yourself by your decisions and your actions. But once you get that plane off the ground, as Dawn said, you have lift. Now the very thing that was holding you back, the wind, now becomes the wind beneath your wings. And so the laws of aerodynamics says if you just keep moving and have a certain attitude, a certain orientation, you're going to fly. And finally, number 6, execute, execute, execute. See, the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. But the key is to come back another day, to monitor your plans, to monitor your results, monitor your progress on a daily basis. Make adjustments each day. You see, the game of life, the experience of life is a moment-to-moment experience, just as an event can take your life out. You can be driving down the highway in your favorite convertible on a sunny day, and a tractor trailer backs out not knowing that you're coming and that your life is over. And so each moment is just that important. So now, each day now, you make progress on a daily basis. You monitor your progress. You make daily adjustments so that at the end of each day, you can say, today I did everything I could with what I have to do it with to make tomorrow the way I want it to be. You surround yourself with positive people. You know, the fact that we're up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to have a live seminar in the next 6 months, because the people that will be up in the morning here on this program, many coming from California, from Africa, got up at 5 o'clock to be here. That these are the people you want to be around, positive people, growth-minded people, possibility thinkers. You want to be around people who uplift you, who challenge you, who can mentor you, who can guide you. And so when we do these 6 things, nothing is impossible. So let's look at the 6 steps. Let's go over them, because this is probably one of the most profound talks we've given in a long time. Because you can be in a rut and it's so subtle that you don't even notice it. So step 1, recognize you are in a rut. That stage of awareness now prepares you for change. Don't beat yourself up, but understand that being in a rut is a natural part of life. It just means it's time to grow. 2, determine why you're in the rut. What thoughts, what emotions, what actions, what relationships brought you here? Make that commitment to face up, to peace up, to move up. Number 3, take responsibility. Now that you know how you got there, you can take responsibility to change. Every day you can say, if it's to be, it's up to me, and then get it done. Number 4, you revisit your why. Your why is eventually your purpose. Your purpose is the reason God created you. When you are congruent with your purpose, you create a harmonic relationship between you and your source. You become light in a sea of darkness. You become powerful, able to overcome all obstacles. Create that action plan. Write it down so that you can execute it. Step 6, to execute that action plan on a daily basis with accountability, with inspiration, by living by the clock, by the calendar, by surrounding yourself with people who believe in you and uplift you. That when you can do these things, you can get out of any rut, no matter what it is. You can change your condition to anything you want it to be. There's no rut There's no hole so deep that you can't get out. The moment you take responsibility to co-create your world along with the creator, nothing is impossible. You can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. So it is. Let's just take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. So it is. Thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate your support. Those of you on Instagram and on YouTube, thank you. Please share this the moment it's posted. Make comments. Share your story. Tell about it, how you've been using these ideas to transform your life. Be sure to visit our website, herbertharris.com, and get a copy of the 12 Universal Laws of Success. You know, we have that special website set up for you so that you can get a 7-night, 8-day vacation when you buy copies, autographed copies of the 12 Universal Laws of Success. So go to www.theperfectgift.me, www.theperfectgift.me. Get your copies of the book and get your vacation that you can transform your lives. So, folks, thank you so much for being with us today. Remember this, that you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. Those on Instagram, please share, leave comments. Thank you, Karen, for joining us. Sade, Carol, all of you there. Those on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Share this message with at least 3 other people. And those of you on Zoom, hold tight so we can have our follow-up discussion.